Hey there, it's Dr. Nick, Professor Mike with Divine Guidance Institute and Spiritual Solutions. Yes, today we're going to talk about blind sides. Trust yourself, intuition, dreams, signs, and how the whole thing rolls into one big tapestry of knowingness. Yes. Ever been blindsided by a cheating partner, financial scam, medical misdiagnosis, or betrayal you never saw coming? Yes. Well, you know, you're not alone, and it's more than bad luck. It's a silent epidemic, which is why, in case you don't know, that's why we founded Divine Guidance Institute, because we saw this as a public crisis, as a silent epidemic that people don't discuss. But if you check the headlines, the blindsided headlines, I mean, there's at least 30 to 40 blindside stories in the Google headlines every single week.
Today, everyone is getting their ass kicked. I mean, literally, at finances, careers, especially relationships. And they never saw it come. They go, Mike, I didn't see it coming. I mean, things were cruising and suddenly I got hit. And, you know, we're going to talk about that today, why people are getting blindsided. And we're going to give you a few tips and tools, the solution, like Nicole has already mentioned, how to sidestep getting blindsided. Who doesn't want to sidestep getting blindsided? It's a rhetorical question.
And it happened to me. Today, we're going to tell you a crazy story. It's got some intuition, some guidance, some signs, knowingness, all rolled into one. So I'm working with an acquaintance. It's a professional relationship. And, you know, it requires our meetings every now and then. And we were working together. And I've known this person for years. And all of a sudden, I get this weird vibe with this person. It's like, it feels a little off. Every time we talk, it feels a little off. And I'm like, what's up? What is going on with this person? And I don't say anything. I'm just a silent observer as we have our meetings and things. And I even mentioned it to Michael. Anyhow, after a month of this, Michael and I, we go out to eat, right? We go to Buddy's restaurant in Detroit. Buddy's. Good stuff. No, I'm not getting paid to plug Buddy's. But anyway, yeah, good stuff at Buddy's. So we're at Buddy's and we know people there, the servers and things. And so we're talking. And in the moment, I'm telling Michael about this acquaintance, this associate. And I'm telling him the story and the details. And I'm like, you know, it just doesn't feel right. Whenever her and I talk, it feels bad. There's something going on. And I said to Michael, it feels like a vibe of disloyal, a disloyal vibe. That's the exact term, disloyal. And we continue talking. And then the server comes over and she hands me a dime. She says, here, you dropped this. You dropped this dime. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't carry change. I don't carry change in my wallet at all. She says, here, this is yours. I'm like, no, I don't carry change. She's like, no, this is your dime. She was insistent. So I take the dime to be polite and thank her. And the minute I take the dime, she walks away. I turned to Michael and I said, drop a dime. Drop a dime. I said, oh my God, you know that saying, drop a dime?
Who the hell is going to drop a dime?
Exactly. It came in from nowhere. I've never used that term in my life. As a matter of fact, we're sitting there and I think, doesn't it mean like getting burned? Doesn't it mean just something's going to happen, right? I Google it real quick. Drop a dime. Sure enough, a disloyal event, blah, 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 blah. And so all of this happened in the moment. And sure, okay, so at this point, I'm flabbergasted. It was a sign, and it was 100% confirmation that what we were talking about, her being disloyal, was on the money. And I was about to get slammed in some way.
The universe is getting ready to kick her ass,
Nice.
And it was actually giving her a sign. That's dropping a dime on her. Okay.
Yeah. Nice, thank you.
Yeah.
It was giving me a heads up also. It was confirming my suspicions, and it was giving me a heads up of what's coming. A drop a dime. I'm about to get a dime dropped on me, right? So now I'm even, my awareness is even more heightened, and I'm like, fuck, what's it gonna be? And as soon as we get home, I check the email, like always, and sure enough, there it is in an email. The whole scenario, what's coming, what the problem is. Now, the whole thing was scandalous. Okay, the whole thing was conjured up. So thank God nothing, I mean, it was a mess, okay? It was a mess and it needed to be unraveled. But ultimately, you know, I came out unscathed for the most part. But here's the deal. I was warned. The intuition was whispering. Then the sign confirmed it all ahead of time. And this is what the universe or Holy Spirit does for every human every single day. Gives us that guidance to soften the blow if you can't change something so you know what's coming around the corner. It does all of this for decision making and foresight and knowing.
Yeah. It's there 24/7. And that's the important thing. That's, Nicole was warned and the universe was telling her someone's about to drop a dime on you and kick your butt. And, when I think back on my life, I mean, I used to be a professional poker player. Real quick story. And won a lot of money, put myself through undergraduate, graduate school, law school with professional poker. Okay. I'm playing this one game, this one day, and I had a really good hand. But I'm not listening inwardly. I had 4 aces. I've never lost with 4 aces. It's almost impossible to lose with 4 aces. And I ended up getting beat with somebody had a straight flush. Odds on that are off the scale.
Wow.
But I wasn't listening. I was drinking beer and I was into my ego. And people were going, Mike, all right. And I had 4 aces, unbeatable. And I believed I couldn't be beat. But yet there was a feeling like something was slightly off. And there was even a sign. One of the players said, hey, Mike, you're probably going to win this hand, but I'd be careful if I were you. He's been really lucky tonight. He pulled that inside straight a while ago. And I just bust out laughing. I said, yeah, right. Thinking he's going to beat 4 aces. Oh, hell no. But it didn't feel right either. Sure enough, I was all in on that hand and I lost over $20,000 or $30,000 on one hand.
Oh.
It was literally impossible to lose. But my ego, I wasn't listening. It was like I'd already decided I've won. Nope. And I was given a sign from that guy across the table. It said, be careful, Mike. That was the universe saying, hey,
yes, it
listen
was.
up, pay attention. I wasn't paying attention. And that's when we get blindsided. It's really that simple.
And just to tell you, that was before we got married. So no, he didn't burn through 30,000 of our money in one hand. That was pre-Nicole, okay? But it led to founding Divine Guidance Institute, all those experiences. Yep. And they're ongoing. Like I said, that drop a dime story, that happened 1 year ago. Year and a half? Yeah, year and a half. 2 Aprils ago. Yes, so the warnings and the guidance that we are given is ongoing, and it's such a gift. It's like the way we were constructed, when we were built, when we were put here on the planet. There were no outside people and advisors and medications and all of these things. It was us. So just think about it. If we were going to be constructed by God or the universe, whatever your belief system is, the Big Bang, whatever, it would have been an all-in-one system, which is why we called it Trust Yourself. That is why we call it the Trust Yourself system. All built within. A lot of people don't trust themselves. You were talking about it earlier. Michael wanted to talk about trusting yourself. And so, I'm going to open it up.
There you go. That's the Trust Yourself system. And really it comes down to a one-liner. If I had to summarize it, it's we are the path, the light, and the way. Like Nicole said, we are the system. And we were created this way to be able to answer every question we have. I got blindsided in that poker game because of ego was chattering and I wasn't listening. I was not in the moment paying attention. Consequently, boom, I got my butt kicked. And that's light. That's really how it works. But we already have it within. The truth is trust yourself. You've already got, and just take a breath and listen for a moment. And you get that resonance, that feeling. The answer will come in immediately. What's right for us.
Sure is. It's an ancient yet new comprehensive guidance system. And like I said, it's built in and it's 24/7. Michael and I have simply studied it for 30 years. We've mechanized it. We've put it in some formulas and have a system for doing so.
And it's simple. Like Nicole said, it's already built in.
Mm-hmm.
Try breathing and listening for a moment. You'll go, oh my God, you know what I got out of that? Yeah, you got the truth. What's right for you? It's really, that's the noise is killing us outwardly, the constant noise and the ego. Shut it down. When you breathe, that's why the SEALs do it, because suddenly they're all relaxed, even though someone has a gun to their head. It doesn't matter. It just takes you into the moment. So you're in control. Yeah, it's listen. That's it. Trust yourself. You've got the answer. You don't need the expert, the doctors, the pharmacies. Nope. You got it.
And if you do need outside assistance, you will be told. You will be guided lovingly and gently down the path with everything, every little thing. So yeah, trust yourself is the deal. Trusting your higher self, not your little self, like with his poker. You know, the little self, that's the ego. I want what I want when I want it now type stuff, not thinking of the higher good, the greater good. And that's when we make mistakes, when we listen to the little self and avoid the higher self. So yeah, and as Michael mentioned, breathing, right? Of course, we always want to leave you with techniques to walk away with. So you've got something you can use now, not in a month or anything else. Now, breathing is essential. There's all types of, breathing, like do 4 seconds in, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. There's a plethora of different combinations of how the breathing should go. I can sum it up into one thing. It doesn't matter how long, breathe in, yes, hold, yes. Where the beauty happens with breathing is on a long, slow exhale. That's where the magic happens. The long, slow exhale. I do EMDR with some of my clients, and it's a wonderful tool. But the bottom line, part of it's the breathing, but the long, slow exhale is where the magic happens. Same with getting into theta or your other, brainwave states that we desire to be in, or staying in the present moment, as Michael mentioned. The breathing pulls you right to this moment, and you can actually feel it, because you kind of get lightheaded if you're doing it properly, and you breathe from your diaphragm, not shallow breathing, and you combine that with the hue, with our favorite tool. But why is it our favorite? Because it's the quickest. It is. It just is. It's the quickest and it's the shortcut. You don't need an outside apparatus. You don't need to listen to something. You don't need this certain massage pillow and this vibrating chair. It's all right here. Eyes open or closed, out loud or silent, this type of thing. So anyway, the breathing with the hue, back to signs, because that's how this whole thing happened. She said, drop a dime, and she's insistent I drop this dime, and this dime is mine, and damn it, take this dime, Nicole. Remember, how do you know it's a sign with a message? If it's a coincidence, okay, there's a message. But more importantly, if it's bizarre, it's something odd, it caught your attention, that's the stuff we're talking about in those moments. There's an absolute message. That's why it's getting your attention, because it's for you. So that's a good way. And track your data. Track your data. Don't make your life and death choices at the onset. You track your data so you get comfortable and confident with the data coming in. And pretty soon then you'll be using this data 24/7. It takes a minute, but no, it's the way. It's the way. So anyway, breathing hue, signs, if it's something bizarre, something odd, there's a message in it for you, not just about tying your shoes untied and, oh my God, what do we do with that? Nothing. You just tie your shoe. So, okay.
and that's simply the solutions. If you just do that, you'll be in the moment. Breathe. Why breathe? It shuts the mind down. Everybody says 8 billion people on the planet. Mike, the chatter, I can't even hear. It's really problematic. When you breathe, after several breaths, you notice you can't even hear the mind. It shuts it down. And then you hue. Why hue? It changes the vibration. And when we change our vibration, we literally change our reality in an instant. I mean, instantly. Boom, boom. I'm talking breathe, hue. Within a minute, you're grounded. You feel better. You're in the flow. And guess what? I started doing that, and I got to keep $30,000 in my pocket as opposed to giving it to somebody else. Yay.
Are we talking about another poker session?
Yep, you bet. I want it back.
Yay. All right, guys. We're signing off for now. Start breathing, start hewing, start tracking your data. And send it in. Let's have a conversation. We can certainly, we collect Trust Yourself stories. So send in your stories, because they matter. All righty.
Hey, have a good one, Professor Mike. Out.
All right, guys. Bye.